Charles Leclerc is off to the worst start in his career with Ferrari, and the Monegasque has only 6 points from the first 3 venues in the 2023 campaign. On the other hand, Sainz has 14 points more, and while they collectively have very low self-esteem that things could turn out better for the Maranello team, Leclerc has voiced his displeasure towards Sainz. It seems like when things are going bad on the track, tensions between the drivers are rising, and don't be surprised if we see a tectonic shake-up in the drivers' lineup at Ferrari sooner rather than later. So join us as we go through the ongoing drama at Ferrari and how that may unfold, as well as Leclerc's words towards Sainz. Now, as I mentioned earlier in this video, Ferrari is off to the worst start of their season ever since the points in 2010 were remodeled. The team was expected to win straight off the bat with a new team principal, Vasseur, but it turned out that he just had no idea how to guide the ship either. At least that's the impression we're receiving from the first 3 races. And while he did what needed to be done in terms of the chief of tactics being replaced, the reliability issues remained the same, and Ferrari will struggle massively for the remainder of the season. In just the first race of the season, Leclerc's electronic unit went off as he was running on P3, which meant that he was forced to take a penalty in Jeddah, the only track where he was able to score points. What's even been more desperate for Leclerc and Ferrari is the qualifying pace that they've been able to present in Melbourne, with the Monegasque being the slowest one out of the top 3 teams, qualifying behind Stroll, as Perez wasn't in contention due to the Q1's beaching. But it seems like Leclerc thought there was much more to the car, and he wasn't able to optimize it due to his teammates' actions. Sainz and Leclerc are known to punch walls in the air during qualifying, and this has been mostly done by the Spaniard so that Leclerc could have the better result. However, during the team radio, Leclerc has sarcastically thrown a shot towards Sainz, which could be something as a joke, but there was definitely a bit of anger behind his voice as he went on to say, "Big thanks to Carlos for the tow. Got a bit of speed there, always nice." Obviously, Carlos had no intention to give his teammate a tow whatsoever, and it seems like the Spaniard has finally understood that he could be the #1 driver in his team. In 2022, he failed to deliver during the first couple of races, which automatically meant that he would be forced to accept team orders if Leclerc is the one that needs the result. But now, things seems to be reversed, and although Sainz had to deal with a penalty of 5 seconds that wasn't overturned in his favour, he's still 14 points ahead of his teammate. Peter Windsor has also spoken about this matter, and he's been quite shocked by Leclerc's reaction in Australia. True, anger can get the best out of you, but in this particular instance, Leclerc is the last guy that you would expect to hear these words to come out, as Peter went on to say. In Q3, Charles was quite annoyed that he didn't get any sort of tow or help from Carlos Sainz. It would have been only on, I guess, the finishing straight. I don't think there's anywhere else in Melbourne you can get any help at all. I thought it was odd that he made that public, that he was upset about that, because you've got to live in your own world and you've got to be very cocooned when you're at Ferrari. Furthermore, Windsor went on to explain that it would have been quite naive of Leclerc to even think that Carlos Sainz would help him if he had the opportunity to do so. This isn't 2022 anymore, and it certainly isn't the ending stages of the season where everything is said and done. As he continued to elaborate, Windsor added, "To me, even if Charles felt that Carlos was in a position to help him, I think it's quite naive of him to think that Carlos would. Why would Carlos Sainz help Charles Leclerc any more than Charles will help Carlos, really?" Now, there is a certain thing that Leclerc might have thought in his head, which is that Carlos Sainz is not a threat to him. When you go head-to-head in a season that's a potential championship one in 2022, at least in the first couple of races, and you manage to establish yourself as the leader of the team, you often don't see your teammate as a threat. That's a very similar situation to what's currently going on in Red Bull, with the difference that Sainz and Leclerc are pretty much on the same level of performance when it comes to on-track judgment. But, as Windsor said, it was very naive and strange as to why Leclerc thought that he could get the tow from Sainz. And to say that out loud on the radio so that everyone could hear, it only stirred up some more drama in the Maranello team. At this point, we're left wondering, what's next for Ferrari? The team has some huge plans for the near future, as it plans to bring upgrades to the upcoming venue in Baku and will continue with the upgrade packages in Imola and Barcelona. If there is one thing that the team understands very well, it's that the championship fight isn't over after 3 races on the calendar, even though it seems like the RB19 is a car that no one can catch up to at this point. Yet, the benefits of the wind tunnel will be harvested later in the season, and this is going to be a very interesting period of the season for Ferrari, as Sainz has suggested that the team should pursue a new design, which has been denied by Vasseur. Still, the switch to the downwash side pods, something that every team has reverted to after the first 3 races of the season, is definitely the path that Ferrari will follow. After realizing that what they have right now isn't working, they're betting hard on this design to boost their chances in terms of aerodynamic gains, as the Barcelona GP will be the venue in which we'll see the new look on the SF23. What isn't very interesting for Ferrari, however, is having to deal with all of the trade rumours that are currently going on between both of the drivers. Leclerc's rumours started as soon as Vasseur was appointed as the team principal, with the Frenchman saying that right now, the last thing on the team's mind is to work on the contract extension with Leclerc. If you add the bad season that the Monegasque is currently having, and him saying that the only goal he has ahead of him is to finish a race, it doesn't matter where, just finish it in the first place, that speaks volumes about what the team has currently to deal with. Lewis Hamilton, on the other hand, is yet to renew the contract with Mercedes as well. And if things go this way with Mercedes as well, there is a huge potential that a swap between Hamilton and Leclerc will happen. According to former F1 driver Gerhard Berger, Hamilton's dream would be to drive for Ferrari, as every great driver has done, and if things go south in the relationship between Sainz and Leclerc, he could have this opportunity presented to him much sooner. Sainz is the other fuel for the fire for Ferrari at this point, given the fact that he's been related to joining Audi from 2026 onward. There have been talks about Sainz not being satisfied with how Ferrari has been developing their car and showing the potential of it, and quite frankly, he's gone public and talked about the fact that Ferrari needs to change their development plan if they want to be competitive with Red Bull. He also pointed out that the Austrian team is dominant in every way right now, so there is a lot of catching up to do that Ferrari cannot do if they stick with the same design. And Vasseur has confirmed that massive changes won't come to the car, and they're sticking with what they have, which only prompts the talk in of itself about Sainz leaving the team. After all, his father is a rally driver for Audi, and he has very close relationships with the board members, meaning that there is definitely something that he could do in terms of Audi pursuing Sainz in 2026. It's not like Sainz is the type of driver that will need to go through connections just to race for a team, as he would be easily accepted without it due to his talent, but sometimes a little nudge in the right direction can definitely help. So with this in mind, what do you think about the ongoing battle at Ferrari? Do you think that Leclerc and Sainz's relationship has gone south after the Australian GP, and will they have to split ways? Let us know in the comments down below.